So when you go to write your paper, you're going to have to use the insert equation feature that Google Docs has. So once you open up a new document, you can go right here to insert, and you can see that there is this feature that's called equation. And when you click that, you see this empty box, but now you have a new toolbar. And if you look through these toolbars, they have a bunch of different options. So here, this is where you're going to find things like theta, or whatever other variable you might need. If you take a look at the next one, we have some operational signs here, some inequality kind of stuff here. We have some fractions, which are going to be really useful for you. And we also have this right here, which is the exponent. All right, and then you have some arrows, which you probably won't be using, but feel free to incorporate that somehow if you would like. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to use this and how to type things up. I'm going to show you how to type up the different formulas. So I'm just going to go ahead and ignore that little box, and I'm going to go ahead and say that I want to write out the law of sines, but I'm not going to use the insert equation feature. So if you do that, you're going to have something like sine of A divided by A equals sine of B divided by B. So you can see that the type is not really nice, right? That it's not math type, meaning it doesn't look like math. It's just regular typing. So I want to show you the difference between that and using math type. So I'm going to go to insert equation. Actually, I didn't have to, it was already there. And I know that this has to be a fraction. So before I start typing, I'm going to go ahead and ask for a fraction. So now you can see the little line there, and we're in the numerator. So I'm going to do sine of A, and you can see immediately things are italicized, which is how we want this written. And then I'm going to press the right arrow. That's how I got down. If you press the down arrow, you actually get out of the box. So if that happens to you, you can just go to the left again, find your cursor. There we go. And now I have A. I'm going to go to the right, and you won't see anything happening, but I'm going to go ahead and put equals, and I'm still inside the equation box. So I'm going to go ahead and say that I want that equal to sine of B over B. So I need another fraction, and I'm going to write sine of B. I'm going to press the right arrow. That brings me down over B. All right, so that's definitely how you want to write your equations anytime you're using fractions, right? You don't want to use the slash. You want to use the actual fraction feature. Let's go ahead and try to write one of the area formulas. So we know that area equals 1/2, let's say BC times sine of A. So this is not terrible, but we can definitely write it better, and this is how you're going to be required to write it in your paper. So I'm going to go ahead. I already have that toolbar here, so I can just click on new equation. I don't have to go to insert equation. I can just do new equation, and you can see that little blue box appears. So I'm going to write A equals, and that 1/2 is a fraction, so I'm going to use A over B as my fraction. 1 in the numerator. I'm going to press the right arrow, which will bring me down. I'm going to press the right arrow again, and that gives me the next spot. And I'm going to write BC space sine of A, and that looks much better. All right, let's say you want to use one of the law of cosine formulas. So I'm going to go ahead and use the one where we have to find a side. So I'm going to hit new equation, and I'm going to go ahead. I know that I need A squared, so I need an exponent, so I'm going to use this option right here, x to the b power. So I click it, and nothing really happens, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to write A, and when you hit the right arrow, it's going to go up into the exponent. So squared, I'm going to hit the right arrow again, equals, and I'm going to write out the formula. So I need another exponent, so b squared, and then I need plus, c squared, minus, no more fractions or exponents needed, so minus 2bc. I'm going to put a space in front of cosine A. All right, so there we go. The other one that we could use is the alternative form of law of cosine. So I'm going to go ahead and do cosine of A. So I'm going to use my equation. cosine of A is equal to, and now I need a fraction. So in the numerator, I'm going to have b squared plus c squared minus a squared. So I'm going to go ahead and use that option. I'm going to use the right arrow. It'll take me up into the numerator. Into the exponent. Right arrow again, plus. Now I need another exponent, so c squared. And then minus, I need another exponent, a squared. All right, and now I need to go to the denominator, so I'm going to press the right arrow, and I'm going to have 2bc. All right, so this obviously looks much better than if we tried to write that in some form like this. All right, so we don't want these. All right, and then the very last formula that you might be using, or that you should be using actually, is the area formula, Heron's area formula. So I'm going to go ahead and do new equation, and for this one we have that the area is equal to, and we have a radical, so I'm going to use this option right here for radical, and inside the radical we have s, and then parentheses, s minus a, close parentheses, s minus b, and s minus c. If I press the right arrow, I'll get out of that radical. If you wanted to, you could continue writing, but that would be the formula. Okay. All right, so those are basically all the different types of tools that you're going to need to use. You want to make sure that every time you're writing math work, you're using a new equation. Anytime that you're just explaining what the steps are going to show, that can just be your regular type. That can just be a heading. You don't need to do that in an equation.